One more step along the world I go, one more step along the world I go, from the old things to the new. Keep me travelling along with you, and it's from the old I travel to the new. Keep me travelling along with you. Well, hello. Today I'm going to tell you a story, and it's a story that's set in the desert. So we've got the desert sand here, or a little bit of the desert. And it's a story that comes from the Old Testament, the old part of the Bible. And it's about the people of God. And they lived in a land by the desert. And there was a time when it really hadn't rained and there was no food. And so the people travelled to a land called Egypt. And at first when they got to Egypt, everything was fine. They had food, they had water, they had work, and they were very happy. But there was a ruler. All the rulers of Egypt were called pharaohs. And the ruler of Egypt at this time was a very bad man. And he made all the people of Israel into slaves to build his pyramids. And the people were very unhappy and they wanted to go back home. But Pharaoh wouldn't let them go. But they had a leader called Moses. And Moses went to the Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh just said, "No." And so this carried on for a long time, and the people were very unhappy. And then some terrible things started to happen, and the Egyptians couldn't really understand what was going on. And Moses went to Pharaoh again and said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh said, "No." But these terrible things kept happening. And Moses thought, well, it's because the people of God are being kept as slaves. I'll go to Pharaoh again and say, if you let my people go, then these horrible things will stop happening. So Moses went back to Pharaoh again and said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh said, "No." And then something really dreadful happened. And all the firstborn children of the Egyptians died. But the children of the people of God were kept safe. And they lived. So Moses went back to Pharaoh again and said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh said, "Yes." So Moses hurried back to the people and they packed all their bags and they made some bread, some very fast baking bread so that they could carry it with them. It's called matzos. And they got all ready to go. And they journeyed out towards the sea. And they could suddenly hear all the Pharaoh's men following them, because the Pharaoh changed his mind. He was a very bad man. And God came close to Moses and said, "You must lead the people through the water." And Moses was very worried. But then an amazing miracle happened. And the water divided. And so the people could come through to the other side. And they very quickly went through the water. And they were so pleased because they could hear the soldiers of Pharaoh following them, and they didn't think they would get away. But they all went through so fast as they could, to the other side. They could still hear Pharaoh's army following them and all the horses. But they all managed to get through to the other side. And then the water came together again, and all Pharaoh's army were left on the side of the water, wondering where the people of God had gone. And they were stuck between the people of God, and the water divided them. And the people of God were so happy that they danced in a circle. And it was Miriam who led them in the dancing. And there they all are, dancing in a circle because they've gone back home. I wonder what it must have been like in that desert place. I wonder what it must have been like to be a slave, to have a bad ruler who wouldn't let you go home. I wonder what they felt like when they saw the water dividing and they got through and left the army of Pharaoh behind. Lots of things to wonder about in that story. But it's a very famous story, and it's sometimes called by a funny name, the Exodus. And you'll find that story in the Bible. And the Jewish people still celebrate when God came and saved them, and Moses led them through the water. So that's our story for today. So we'll sing our hymn, our little song, and we'll say a prayer. And then I'll see you next week. Let's say our prayer first. Dear Father God, we thank you that when things are really bad, you are still with us, that you love us and you want us to be happy, and you want us to dance and sing. Amen. Know, love and follow Jesus. Know, love and follow him. Know, love and follow Jesus. Speak his name, feel him within. Know, love and follow Jesus. Know, love and follow him. Know, love and follow Jesus. Speak his name, feel him within.